It is night, somewhere in Africa, maybe 800,000 years ago. The air smells like smoke and charred meat. Something is burning at the edge of the tree line. Lightning struck earlier. Half the savanna is still smoldering, and your ancestor is standing there, not running, not hiding, standing, staring at the flames. And then they do something no creature on Earth has ever done before. They walk toward the fire, not because they understood what fire was, not because they had a plan, but because something in the air, that smell, triggered something older than thought, something primal, something hungry. The meat at the edge of the fire is already cooked. They do not know that word. They do not know that concept. All they know is that when they bite into it, it is softer, richer, easier, and it tastes like nothing they have ever tasted before. That moment, right there, that is when everything changed. Not the invention of the wheel, not the first city, not language, not writing. This one ancestor crouching in the dark, tearing into charred meat with their teeth, their eyes wide, the fire reflecting in them. This is the moment that made you possible. Here is what was happening inside that body. Every single day, your ancestor was spending up to 6 hours chewing. Raw tubers, stringy meat, hard seeds. The jaw worked constantly. The gut was enormous, a massive, coiling, energy-hungry machine designed to extract every last calorie from food that resisted giving it up. The brain, by contrast, was small. It had to be. It is the most expensive organ in your body. Right now, your brain is burning through 20% of all your energy, even though it is only 2% of your body weight. On a raw diet, keeping a bigger brain alive was almost impossible. There simply was not enough fuel. So for millions of years, the brain stayed small, and the gut stayed massive, and your ancestors chewed and chewed and chewed until the fire. Harvard researcher Richard Wrangham spent decades trying to understand why the human brain exploded in size roughly 1.8 million years ago. The fossil record shows it clearly, a dramatic, sudden leap. Homo erectus arrives with a brain nearly double the size of what came before. And Wrangham's answer, laid out in his landmark work on the cooking hypothesis, is as elegant as it is startling. Cooking did it. When you apply heat to food, you are doing the digestive work before the food ever enters the body. Heat breaks apart proteins. It ruptures cell walls. It unlocks calories that would otherwise be locked tight. Biologist Stephen Secor demonstrated this in controlled experiments. Cooked food requires up to 50% less energy to digest than raw food. 50% freed up. Just like that. So imagine what happened inside that first body that started eating cooked food regularly. The gut no longer had to work as hard. Over generations, it shrank. And all that energy that had been feeding the gut, all those calories that were burning just to power digestion, suddenly had nowhere to go. Except the brain. The brain grew. The gut shrank. The jaw followed. Softer food meant less grinding, less crushing, less muscle. And as the heavy jaw muscles receded, something remarkable happened to the skull. The bone that those muscles had anchored to began to thin, to open up, to give the brain room to expand forward, right into the prefrontal cortex, the seat of planning, of imagination, of complex thought. Paleoanthropologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has traced this shift in the fossil record with startling precision. The gracile human skull, your skull, with its high forehead and reduced brow ridge, is the skull of an animal that learned to cook. Your face is the shape it is because your ancestors discovered fire. Cooking did not just change what was happening inside the body, it changed what was happening between bodies. Before fire, eating was solitary. You found food, you ate it immediately, you moved on. There was no reason to stay, no reason to wait, no reason to sit near another creature in the dark. Fire created waiting. And waiting created something the world had never seen before. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years living with the Jew/Huanzi people of the Kalahari, recording what happened around fires at night versus what happened in daylight. The difference is almost incomprehensible. During the day, conversation is practical. Who has food? Who has status? Who owes what to whom? But at night around the fire, something shifts. Stories emerge, jokes, dreams, the names of people who are far away, the memories of people who are gone. The campfire did not just cook food. It cooked something inside the social brain. It created the context for storytelling, for myth, for the kind of emotional bonding that holds a group of unrelated humans together through hardship and loss and time. Every story ever told, every song ever sung around a fire, every human tradition of sharing a meal, all of it traces back to that first night. That first ancestor who did not run from the flames. And it goes even deeper into your body than you think. Right now, in your mouth, you carry the evidence. Your saliva contains an enzyme called amylase. Its job is to begin breaking down starchy carbohydrates the instant food touches your tongue. Humans carry far more copies of the amylase gene than any other primate on Earth. Researcher George Perry at Penn State mapped this gene duplication and found it is a direct biological adaptation. Your mouth literally evolved to process cooked, starchy food. The kind of food that only exists after fire transforms it. Chew a plain piece of bread for 30 seconds. Hold it on your tongue. It starts to taste sweet. That sweetness is your amylase gene activating. That is hundreds of thousands of years of evolution happening in your mouth, right now, in real time. You are not just eating, you are completing a loop that started on a burning savanna almost 1,000,000 years ago. And here is the thing that makes it almost impossible to comprehend. Every human culture ever discovered, no matter how isolated, no matter how separated by ocean or desert or mountain range, no matter how different their language or their religion or their rituals, every single one of them cooks. It is not a learned behavior in the way we usually mean. It is deeper than that. It is what anthropologists call a human universal. Like music, like language, like mourning the dead. Cooking is something that emerges from your species the way water emerges from a spring. It does not need to be taught, it needs only to be discovered, and it always is. Because the species that does not cook does not survive long enough to be discovered. So now it is morning. You are in a kitchen, or a cafe, or somewhere with a plate of food in front of you. The eggs are scrambled, the bread is toasted, the coffee is hot. None of it looks the way it looked before heat touched it. You did not think about any of this when you made it. You never do. But somewhere inside the body that is sitting there, reading this, digesting without effort, thinking thoughts that require a prefrontal cortex that only exists because of what fire did to your ancestors' skulls. Somewhere in there, something ancient already knows. The fire changed everything, and you are still standing in its light.